Welcome back to World Traveler Cooking, where we cover interesting foods and interesting cuisines from around the world. Today we're going to make a Scottish beef stew, and this will release within a couple of days of making a video making the dumplings that go on the stew. So these two go together. The videos will be linked down below as they come out, and that's that. So what we have today is we're going to use a kilogram of beef shank. Now beef shank, if you can't get it, just use normal stew meat. But beef shank is really nice because it has all these really hard proteins, and as this simmers very slowly, it makes a much more rich broth. So that's ideal. Normally we use 2 large onions. These onions are small, so I'm going to use at least 4, probably 6 of them. 2 large carrots. A small can of tomato paste. Normally you'd use a turnip. I can't get turnips here in Indonesia, so I'm going to use half of a daikon radish. We'll use some salt, freshly ground pepper, Worcestershire sauce, and that looks like it. Some people don't add the tomato paste. So there are some other ingredients that sometimes people add. So yeah, this is what we're going to do. So into a big soup pot or a casserole, we're going to add about 3 spoonfuls of beef drippings if you have them. If you don't, use a mixture of butter and vegetable oil, about half and half. Once this gets hot, we will add our onions. So this is starting to smell, sound, and feel hot, so in go our onions. Oh yeah, you should hear that sizzle. And these have been cut into half rounds now. You can cut them other ways if you like, but this is what I like. And we're just going to stir these for a little bit, so that they cook somewhat evenly. And then while these continue to cook, we'll flour and cut down our meat. So these onions have become nicely yellow. They've cooked down a bit. So I'm going to remove these, and I will start browning the meat. But now we're just going to add the meat. And I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. I guess it was off. And we'll go ahead and brown this meat up. That'll take a few minutes. In the meantime, let's also get our onions and turnip, or in this case, daikon radish, peeled and cut. Once the meat is nicely seared, let's go ahead and add our onions back. Let's now add our carrots and our turnips. Our tomato paste, which is optional, not everybody adds it, but it's in more than one recipe, so. A generous tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. A little more, for good measure. Now let's give this a nice stir. And once I've made sure that anything that was cooking onto the bottom is up, because we want all those nice flavors, then I'm going to cover this and let it slowly stew for about 3 hours. I may come back periodically to check, and if necessary, adjust the water level. And I will, of course, taste and adjust the salt. My guess is, especially since I'm not using a beef broth, I probably do need more salt. So, here is this. Let's bring it to a simmer, and then we'll let it cook for a few hours. And now for the taste test. It's rich. It's flavorful. It's wonderful. It's not quite like I normally expect from an American beef stew, but it's really, really good. Really good. And the daikon worked pretty well as a turnip substitute, so I'm going to remember that. Might even be able to make neeps and taties out of them, but neeps and taties. So yeah, definitely going to make this again, and pretty soon, in a couple of days, I'll show you how to make the dumplings that traditionally go on these. So, if you like this content, you'd like to see more of it, please like, share, and subscribe. If you like it, also please consider joining my Patreon. And if you have anything to say about this, please let me know in the comments. At any rate, recipes in the description. Bon appetit, and see you next week.